Hello, hello, hello. We are live. You probably need to refresh your screen. I just want to make sure that I am live. Yes.
You probably need to refresh your screen.
I'm going to shut that off so we don't have the echo. I'm going to put a note in here that says refresh your screen and click play button. Okay. So we are ready to go. Here we go. Hey, welcome to the webinar. This is Salen, and today I am going to show you how to shift from fried to free in 5 months without fear of failure. Now, I'm guessing for a lot of you, this is probably not your first webinar. If you're anything like me, you love to learn, but might get overwhelmed with the amount of info. The first thing I want to mention is that if you failed at finding that elusive freedom and fulfillment in the past, it's not your fault. There's a lot of information out there and it can be super confusing. Many times that information overload keeps you from success, and it's totally okay. And my job is to keep this as simple as possible for you. If you've been frustrated in the past that you just can't figure out how to have a life while growing your business, I want to put those feelings to rest. You can do this. You just need the right person to help you. The big corporations want you to think that you need a fancy college degree or some new certification to be successful. I'm here to tell you that they're wrong and they have their own reasons for wanting you to think that, but it's not true. If you've ever thought that your haters or naysayers want you to fail, you're probably right. They don't benefit from you succeeding. They want to keep you on their level. And it's as they say, people love success, but not successful people. The difference with me is that I actually care about your success and truly want to see you living the life of your dreams so you can inspire others to do the same. So that's what I'm here for. I know you have a dream to change the world and make an impact, and I want to show you how to make that happen during this webinar. My goal for this presentation is 2 types of entrepreneurs. For those of you who are beginners, you're going to get a framework on how to build a business that grows while you're living your dream life right from the start. For more established entrepreneurs, you'll get a framework on how to shift in your business from the daily grind to living your one life while growing your business. In the next 60 minutes, my goal is to get you to believe that personalized one-on-one coaching is the key to unlocking the secret to work-life balance. And I'm going to show you my proprietary framework that will make it simple for you to achieve that result. And I'm also going to invite you to join me in my new coaching program if you want to move to the next step. So in the past 10 years, I've had many amazing chances to travel the world, like the 5-week trip to Australia in a camper van with a friend where we snorkeled the Great Barrier Reef. And I've also been able to help other women build their self-confidence and skills to start new careers or even new businesses. But it wasn't always that way. In fact, just 10 years ago, I was just like you. I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2007 with a dream to build a business that would allow me to control my time so I could have the freedom I was desperate for. Just 3 years into the business, I was working 80+ hour weeks and was on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I could not figure out how to work any less. I was burnt out, stressed beyond belief, and my life balance was totally skewed. And if I had to guess, you're probably in a similar position right now in your business and just not sure what to do in order for it to change. I had started this business for freedom because I had watched my mom work the same job for her entire life that she didn't really love. And I know she had dreams of being and doing more in her life. So I did not want to wake up at age 60 and have any regrets about my life and my journey. And while my dad loved being a teacher, he was tired of the politics related to the industry and just wanted to help students. Both my parents worked decent paying jobs, and I never wanted for anything. The common theme in our house was always, we're lucky in love, but not in money, according to my dad. I always had this vibe from him that he wished he had made more money, taken more adventures, and just plain old lived a more exciting life. So, with my desire to be able to do what I want, when I want, from where I want, and my one example of someone who was able to do this, who was my boyfriend, who owned a family business, I put my desire with my example and thought that becoming an entrepreneur must be the answer to attaining freedom. The reason I purchased a franchise was because I started in business at age 27 and had no one to show me the way. So I thought it would be great to be a part of a proven system that worked, and I was right. After having that support and system allowed me to grow $1 million business in just 3 years. But it also had not allowed me much freedom to live my life. When I would reach out to our fellow owners or home office to inquire about having more time off, it was like I was talking with two heads. It was just assumed when you owned your own business and in an industry that ran 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the healthcare field, you essentially make a lot of money, but not have an easygoing career. Their one answer was always grow it bigger so you can hire a general manager to run it. And my response was always, if I can't handle the responsibility as a well-paid owner, why do you think someone with less buy-in and less of a paycheck can? This set me on my journey to figuring out how to build a thriving home care business while working part-time. One day in year 3, I was so excited to finally have a new caregiver, starting with a client I had been caring for personally myself for weeks. I got up at 4 a.m., left my house at 5 a.m., got to the client by 6 a.m. to introduce them to the new caregiver. By 6:05, she had not arrived. I started providing care to the client while calling the caregiver to find where she was. Around 6:30 a.m., she finally called back and said she was not coming. My emotions went wild. I was mad, disappointed, angry, tired, exasperated, shocked, frustrated, and the list just kept going. How could she have committed to me that she would be there just the day before and then not shown up? She was literally leaving me to do her job, which meant she was leaving a senior citizen without the care he needed to survive. After finishing my, or really her shift, I vowed that something had to change because I did not think physically nor mentally I could keep going at this pace. I knew that if I didn't make a change soon, I was going to start resenting my decision to become an entrepreneur, or even worse, sell the business. My saving grace was my mom's friend who was a business coach. He met with me at her insistence because she saw me burning out. I agreed, and that one meeting changed my journey and helped me to find time for what was important to me and make me happy. Maybe right now, when you leave your office or log out of work for the day, you have no energy left to give your family. I hear you. I was burnt out too. As a coach, he was able to listen to all of my issues, concerns, complaints, and see the big picture and make the recommendations needed to solve my problems. After that life-changing meeting, I had an aha moment. It was like all of a sudden I learned some techniques that gave my life back and will give you your life back too. Because let's face it, what is the point of working so many hours to have it all when you have no energy left to enjoy it? He had opened my eyes to what was possible with some simple shifts that seemed totally doable. He suggested I implement systems for everything that could be done by others. I needed to empower my support team. And finally, I needed to shift my mindset and my management techniques. What he had was the ability to see the big picture, where I was so entrenched in the day to day of the business that I couldn't even see what was right in front of me. I felt like my faith in entrepreneurship had been renewed, and I finally had someone telling me the steps I needed to take on how to live the life I had dreamt about before I started. One of the things I learned was how to say no without the guilt, to free up time for what was important to me and to see where my time was wasted. And I want to share it with you so you can work more productively too and still have the life you dream of. Over the next 2 years, I worked on everything he suggested and just kept fine tuning it until I was able to get the freedom that I was so desperate for. Finally, in October of 2012, my boyfriend and I set out in our RV to travel for 30 days straight. This was all possible because of the framework I put in place. I spent the next 5 years fine-tuning it even more, up to the point that the year before I sold the business, I was running a multi-million-dollar business in less than part-time hours. I was traveling all the time and finally working on my business and not in it. Now, how does that sound to you? Does that sound like something you would want to try to do too? In 2017, after 5 years of fine-tuning my business system, enjoying this one life I was given, and traveling all over the country with friends and family, I was able to sell my business for the highest amount possible because it was a smooth running, fine-tuned machine that just kept producing money while I lived my life. People always ask me, why did I sell then? Because I wanted more. Remember the senior clients I spoke about? They all had money, but they also had so many regrets. We both know all the money in the world cannot buy happiness. So I wanted more time and more freedom. And now that I had a system that worked, I knew I could do it all over again. So why not try? Since 2017, I have coached many women in many different types of businesses on how to work less and live more. Sharing my journey and success with them has been a passion of mine because I believe we all deserve to live our dream lives to the fullest. Since I implemented the simple framework in my business, in 2012, I've been able to travel the world with friends and family. I was able to be there and support my mom when my dad became ill. And I've been able to mentally and physically heal my mind and body from the years of stress and work during those early years. Let me tell you what I learned and how I can help you live your best life. I've done the research, learned from the top trainers in the field, and can save you time and energy by showing you what worked for me. While I started this entrepreneurial journey to be in control of my life, I was able to not only do that, but also do so much more. I enabled more seniors to remain at home. I enabled more families to support their loved ones' decisions to be home. I grew the business into the #1 provider for home care in my territory. I grew our business revenue to be in the top 10% in North American franchises. I empowered my team to go after their dreams by supporting them with tools and training to step out of their boxes. And I became the best possible version of myself. My mind, body, and soul are the most balanced they have ever been because I focused on my ultimate goal and helping others solve their problems. I am now living my dream life daily, and I'm able to be present for my family and friends, and you can have the exact same thing or whatever it is that you want your deepest desire to be by learning this effective 5-step framework. Here's what we're going to cover during the next 30 minutes or so. These are super important, and while they may seem too simple, they're truly what shifted my life. Secret number 1, how to make this shift in your own life without a paid support team. Secret number 2, how to say no to things that don't serve you. And secret number 3, how to find the time to implement without working more hours. So let's start with secret number 1. Okay. Remember earlier, I told you about the framework I developed that helped me live my one life while growing my business? I want you to take out your pen and paper to take notes because I'm going to walk you through this framework. I call it the 5 phases to fulfillment. The coach I met with said I needed to do 3 things to move closer to my goal. As a person who loves a good checklist and marking each one off, I started implementing what he suggested. However, where I continued to struggle was figuring out how to live more and work less as I went through this process. Back in 2010 to 2012, social media was not as mainstream as it is today. And even though I had been forced to open a Facebook account, I rarely was on there because I just didn't get it. Tony Robbins says you should model successful people you admire, but it was a challenge to find those that were living the life I dreamed about. I knew in order to reach my goal, I needed to take the coach's advice, tweak it to meet my needs. And so I built this simple but effective 5-step framework to find the fulfillment I was looking for personally and professionally. So here are the 5 phases to fulfillment broken down for you. Phase 1 is find your passion. What the heck do you want in life? Phase 2 is thrive with purpose. Part 1 is achieving work-life balance. Phase 3 is thrive with purpose. Part 2, learning self-care is not selfish. Phase 4 is lead with posture, having the self-confidence to help others on their journey. And phase 5 is leveraging your life, implementing every tool possible to set you free. Well, it took me 2 whole years to figure it all out with a lot of learning curves thrown in there. I was able to do what I set out to achieve, own a multi-7-figure business that was well respected in the community and make a ton of money to enjoy my one life. So let's go through the breakdown of each phase so that way you know how this all works. So phase 1 is find your passion. What the heck do you want in life? This first phase is an absolute must because if you do not know what you want, how will you know whether you attained it or not? This is everything you want personally and professionally in your life. So don't skip this step. For me, I knew what I wanted, and after working 5 jobs in 7 years before I became an entrepreneur, I also knew what I did not want. However, I really had to dig deep to get a clear vision of what my life would look like when I achieved my goal. This was new to me because I had been so focused on attaining my goal, I had never really thought about what I would do once this happened. So I spent a lot of time thinking, do I want this or do I want that? And making pro and con lists and really just creating a vision of what was possible. Now, as we move on to phase 2, we move into thriving with purpose, and I break this into 2 steps. Part 1 is achieving work-life balance, and it is totally possible. I poo-poo all the naysayers who say it's not possible because I believe it totally is. There's just a certain way in order to achieve it. And here's a hint, it doesn't have to be 50-50. It has to be whatever you determine it to be. We're on totally different journeys with different goals, so you can't compare your definition of balance to someone else's. However, it's really hard to see the big picture when your starting point is 80+ hour weeks and being on call 24/7 like I was. Don't you think? This phase took a bit of number crunching to see what I was actually doing with my time and why. Once I realized where I was spending my time, that is when I could start the shift to becoming more balanced. And when you dig deep in phase 1, you'll be able to know what your journey should look like and what needs to be done to achieve that work-life balance. Now, phase 3 is Thriving with Purpose Part 2. And this is learning self-care is not selfish, which was the hardest lesson for me. As someone who truly loved what I did for work and it provided me great joy in helping a senior remain in their home, it was a 24/7 business that could run you ragged. The funny thing is I was constantly preaching to my team that you had to care for the caregiver because who else was going to? But I wasn't taking my own advice. So I struggled to take care of myself. I was out of shape, exhausted, and definitely had brain fog. Does that sound like you right now, too? It's totally okay. This is all about recognizing where you are right now and where you want to go. When I started implementing small self-care modalities, that is when I truly realized how poor my life had been mentally and physically. This step took me a while to heal, but through consistent measures, I began to feel and look better. Now, as we move on to phase 4, it's called Leading with Purpose. And this is having the self-confidence to help others on their journey. It's one of the signs that you have shifted personally and professionally. You probably got into business to meet your personal goals and also help others solve their problems. In the beginning, you focused on you and your goals, and that's totally normal. But once you gain the confidence and have implemented the phases prior to this, you begin to shift your focus from all about you and your needs to finding fulfillment through helping others. You have the self-confidence to stop listening to the naysayers in your life and start to embrace your dream life. You're exuding a healthy glow that others are attracted to, which leads them to ask for help. And because you now have more time, you can start pouring into others what they need on their journeys. This could be friends, family, your support team, or even colleagues. Remember, you can't pour for an empty cup. So phase 3, self-care, is absolutely huge. Finally, in phase 5, I call this leveraging your life. Implementing every tool possible to set you free from working in the day-to-day of your business. One of the early lessons I was taught is you've truly made it when you're working on your business and not in your business, which means that you're not involved in the day-to-day ongoings of the business. You're creating the vision, the plan, the goals for your company and sharing them with your team. In order to do that, you have to see the big picture, have faith in the process, and implement everything that is available and possible for you to make money while you sleep. Just like this simple 5-step framework I'm teaching you, it is going to help you leverage your time. Okay, so here you can see is a testimonial from Michelle. I'm going to summarize her note that she shared with me. She said today she's following her heart and passion, helping women to be all that they can be and more. She said Salyn gently nudged me outside my comfort zone, and due to her friendship, professional guidance, mentoring, and constant cheerleading, I have had a successful business. Now, you're probably thinking, how am I going to implement all of this without a paid support team? Well, let me ask you, do you have friends, family, neighbors, etc., who might be able to help you? When I first began, and even to this day, my family helped with tasks in my business for free. Or you're probably thinking, my support team is already so busy. Let me tell you, so was mine. But when I explained to them the shift I was making, they supported me in my journey because they believed in my mission. And you're probably thinking you need a bigger support team to make this happen. Well, let me tell you, as you start to implement, you'll find the right people or more people to help you achieve your goals. Now, secret number 2, how to say no to things that don't serve you. This is the sandwich technique. Back in college, I assumed the role of founding president of my new sorority group when our current leader flaked. After a shocking letdown to the group, I needed to step up quickly as a leader to guide this group of women to our goal to establish a national chapter. I was met with a lot of drama, a lot of conflict, and a lot of negativity. My mentor taught me an approach called the sandwich technique that when I was struggling to motivate the members to step up in their roles so we could reach our goal quickly. This technique can help you with so many different things in your life. And I began to use it after I started phase 2, Thrive with Purpose Work-Life Balance. The first 3 years of my business, I said yes to pretty much any offer, any client, and any invitation that was sent my way. I was taught to say yes and figure it out. All those yeses led to building a $1 million business, which was amazing, but also attributed to those dreaded 80+ hour weeks. So how did I find balance while building how did I find balance in building while also lessening those hours? It was through the sandwich technique. So remember how I told you in phase 2 that I started crunching numbers and reports? Those were the key to my big profit picture. I realized there were a lot of trends in the info I crunched, and many of the things I thought I should be doing were actually not serving me. But after 3 years of saying yes, the community, my referral sources, and my support team all counted on me to say yes. Let me ask you, can you relate to that? Saying yes to too many things in your life because you feel you need to. Let me know in the comments. So I started the transition to saying no. Here's how it works. Step 1 is start by thanking the person for thinking of you. Step 2, let them know that you're not available to do what they need done. And then step 3 is end with something positive, like another solution or referral to send them on their way, feeling they still received value from you. I have been using this technique for 20+ years, and I can tell you it works in most situations when you need to tell someone no to something they're asking of you. You'll use this technique in your personal and professional life to delegate some of the tasks that can be done by someone other than you so you can find the time to start your shift to freedom. How does that sound to you? Being able to say no to things without feeling guilty. Just take a moment to think about how that would feel to say no to the next thing that's thrown at you. Since I have taught this technique to so many people over the years, many of them have gone on to use this in their own lives to start delegating items on their plates so they could start moving closer to the life they really want. You're probably thinking, who am I going to delegate items to? Well, I'm sure there's many people you probably know. One person I know delegated her social media posting to her teenager. You're probably thinking, how am I ever going to find the time to learn this? Well, this is such a simple technique that you can learn in a matter of minutes. And when we work together, we will practice it. And you're probably thinking, what if I delegate something and they don't do it as well as I do? Well, I can tell you from personal experience, done is better than perfect, and being able to live your life is much better than a spelling error on a piece of marketing material. Or you're probably thinking, what do I do when I feel guilty for saying no? Well, I can tell you this probably will feel normal at first, but once you see what you can start doing with the extra time, those feelings of guilt are going to melt away. Okay, so let's move on to secret number 3. How to find the time to implement in your day. You're going to use a time study. Time is the one thing we cannot buy in this life. No matter how hard we try, we can never get more. This is why having the freedom to do what you want and not what others want is so priceless. I learned this lesson early after working with so many seniors at the end of their lives and listening to them have regrets and the woulda, coulda, shoulda thoughts about their lives. It was heartbreaking to hear stories of their lives where they wish they had spent more time with their children or taken more trips or just enjoyed their life more. I can tell you, not one of them ever said, "Boy, I wish I had spent more time at the office." These client stories, my boyfriend's father dying at 57 years young, my parents retiring early because they had already learned this lesson in their families, and my deep desire that I knew I was meant for more were just some of the reasons I knew something had to change for me back in 2010 because I did not want to die with regrets in life. So when I was asked to implement a beta software in my office, I said yes and learned way more than I bargained for. One of the things the software company asked me to do as the owner was to take an hour watching how my team used our current software and relay my findings back to them. Wow, did this open my eyes. All of a sudden, I knew why some of my team were struggling to get things done versus other ones being so successful. They all used their time differently. So I began to review where I spent my time on a daily basis, and my eyes were opened even farther about my own wasted time. So how do you find the time to implement my 5 phases to fulfillment? It's simple. You conduct your own time study. Here's how. Step 1, you're going to write down everything you do from the moment you wake up till you hit the sack again. Step 2, you're going to assign each item to one of 3 categories. Step 3, you're going to determine who you can delegate the items to you do not need to do anymore. This eye-opening moment and this strategy has served me for many years. Every single time I start feeling like a little busy bee and I'm wearing that busy bee badge, I get out my time study template and analyze. There is always something I am doing that someone else can do or that can be removed altogether from my to-do list, which then frees me up the time I need to feel more balanced, have more fun, work on whatever money-making activity that really needs my time. When I ask entrepreneurs, and especially women, to do this, they give me the same eye roll I used to give my bosses when they asked this of me. However, if you take the time to conduct the study, I can almost guarantee you, or actually pretty much, guarantee you, there's something on there that someone else can do or can be scratched off altogether. Many of the women I have done this exercise with are so thankful for me giving them the permission to let it go. What is the one thing you would love to eliminate from your schedule today? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so you're probably thinking you want me to spend my precious time writing down what I do all day. Well, I'm sure this sounds silly, but for most people, it gives them the big picture look at where they are wasting time on things that are not important. You're probably thinking, what if I find that I still need to do everything on the list? Well, if you're like my colleague Jonelle, then you probably thought you needed to do all those things. But once we analyzed them, she realized she was truly wasting time on non-income producing activities. Or you're probably thinking, what if you delegate something to and it does not get done? Well, if you're like my friend Mary, then you have to figure out why it was not done and figure out a solution that does not involve you taking it back. So let me ask you a question. If you followed what I showed you in Secret 1 and found a support team, then you did what I showed you in Secret 2 and removed some items from your to-do list, and then you used Secret 3 to find the time to implement this framework, do you think you could be successful? Are you excited about what we just talked about? And are you feeling a little overwhelmed because we've covered so much? It's kind of impossible to show you everything you need to get results in a 45-minute presentation, but I tried to cover as much as possible. So I created a special package for those of you who are ready to move forward and want to implement this new opportunity. Is it okay with you if I spend 10 minutes going over a very special offer I created to help you implement the 5 phases to fulfillment? Okay. So after going through this process myself and making lots of mistakes and spending lots of money to figure this all out, I realized that I was not alone in wanting this process. People were watching me transform my life and started asking questions. How did I do it? So I put this together so you could be able to have the step-by-step framework to follow so you could live the one life that you have been dreaming about. Let me share with you what I learned and how I can help you live your best life. I've done the research, learned from the top trainers in the field, and can save you time and energy by showing you what worked for me. When you have this one-on-one personalized coaching program, you'll finally be able to start moving closer to the life you've always dreamt about. And when you have this one-on-one coaching, you'll be able to get rid of all those self-doubts, fears, and insecurities about not making it as a successful entrepreneur. When I was first figuring this stuff out, I ran into a big roadblock. I didn't know how to find the time in my already super jam-packed day to start working on something new. So I had to create some tools for myself so I could make the time to prioritize my dreams. When you use this program, not only will you save the time and money I spent to develop it, but you'll also save what could be months or years of wasted time and money because you'll be doing it right the first time. There's no trial and error period. If you've tried to do this on your own and could not figure it out, it's okay. You did not know the simple 5 steps needed to have you achieve your dream. Or if you hired a coach in the past as part of a group coaching program and just did not feel that you had enough personal time, no worries. This is customized one-on-one coaching, and I'm here to help you with your exact needs. And finally, if you hired a business coach who taught you how to grow your business so you can make more money, but they forgot to teach you how to build it while living your one life, no stress. I'm going to teach you how to live your life while growing your business. When you sign up, you're going to get instant access to my program. It's called the 5 Phases to Fulfillment, and it has a value of $16,747. Here's what we're going to cover. Phase 1, we're going to talk about finding your passion. Phase 2, we'll go over Thriving with Purpose Part 1, work-life balance. Phase 3, we dive into Thriving with Purpose Part 2, self-care. Then by Phase 4, you'll be ready for Leading with Posture. And by the time we get to Phase 5, we look at leveraging your life. And we finally wrap it all up with a celebration of what you have accomplished. And here's how this is all going to happen. I have put together a one-on-one personalized coaching program for you that includes 10 sessions. That's one every other week for 60 minutes. To prep you for these sessions, I have included 10 modules, one for each session for you to review so you can get the most out of our coaching time. I've also included coursework for you to work on in between the sessions to keep you moving forward towards your dream life. This simple but effective and proven course system will allow you to shift from where you are now to where you want to be in just 5 months. Here you can see a testimonial from my colleague Jonelle. Let me summarize her note that she shared with me. She said, I've watched Salen her time and time again do for so many others what she did for me. Breathe confidence and inspiration into the lives she touches. So I want to go back and make sure you realize who this is for. It's for women entrepreneurs just starting out and wanting to build their business the right way from the start, or those of you who are already established and want to shift your life from the daily grind to living your one life while growing your business. You might be thinking you can't get started with this because you're not at a point where you can invest in your business. Believe me, I totally get it because I felt the exact same way. Here's why that's a mistake that'll hold you back from success like it did for me. We as women struggle to invest in ourselves and our growth because we always put ourselves last. The ironic thing is that's exactly why you're struggling so much in your business. But it does not have to be this way. Remember how I told you it took me 2 whole years to go from when I had that aha moment to setting out in the RV? I know for a fact now that it should not have taken that long. Don't be like me, afraid or unwilling to invest in yourself. And as I used to tell my caregivers, you have to care for the caregiver because if you don't, who will care for the client? This is the same thing for women entrepreneurs. If you do not invest in yourself, who will? I am giving you permission today, right now, that you are worthy of success and you can live the life you have always wanted. On top of the 10 one-on-one coaching sessions, when you sign up, you're also going to get instant access to the Magical Morning Routine mini course, which is a total value of $497. The reason I created this mini course is because if you're like me, you've been bombarded with the knowledge that we all need a morning routine. Someone might have even said you needed to get up at 4 or 5 a.m. and scared us non-morning people out of doing it. But no one has given you a simple step-by-step proven system on how to design and implement it on your terms until now. Here's what we're going to cover in the Magical Morning Routine mini course. Step 1 is designing and developing a clear vision of what you want your dream life to be. Step 2 is setting achievable goals to conquer that vision. Step 3 is retraining your brain using the proven technique of positive affirmations. Step 4 is expanding your mind through personal and professional development, learning through podcasts, webinars, books, etc. Step 5 is why using a gratitude practice is key to success. And finally, we wrap it all up with a personalized morning routine for you to use daily to accomplish phase 1 of your finding fulfillment journey. When I implemented this system back in 2018, within 90 days, I had doubled my revenue and I also was working way less stressed. Let me ask you, how does that sound to you? Would you want to double your revenue in 90 days and work less stressed if I could show you how? Let me know in the comments. Okay, now let me show you some people who've had a chance to go through this process already. Andrea says, thank you, Salen, great stuff. Alice, my mom, says, putting goals on paper makes them more tangible for me and I can review daily. Sarita says, I am inspired to write my own. She was talking about writing her own affirmations. And Mary says, love this. I'm still working on my goals, but this helps a lot. So you might be thinking you can't get started with this because you have absolutely no time in the morning already. Here's why that's a mistake that'll hold you back from success. When you really want to change in your life, you have to do something differently. So by taking the time to go through this course, design a custom morning routine for you in your life, you're taking your first step to achieving it. Then by reviewing what you design daily, it will remind you what your ultimate goal is and keep you on track. This 30-minute morning review allows you to control your day, say no to things that don't serve you, and move you closer to your end goal. When you sign up, you're also going to get instant access to the 30 affirmations for women entrepreneurs for a $97 value. In this bonus, you're going to get 30 positive affirmations made especially for women entrepreneurs. Having these in your back pocket is a tool that will help you work on any limiting beliefs. Also, it will help you move closer and closer to the dream life you really want. And when you sign up, I'm also added in the Entrepreneurs book series to Finding Life Balance for a value of $97. In this bonus, you're going to get 10 of my favorite personal and professional development books. These books are going to help feed your mind, which is so key to figuring out what you want and the tools to get it. When I started reading personal development books, that's when my shift truly started to happen, because I was reading about others who had been in my same shoes and seeing what they had accomplished. And when you sign up, I'm also going to give you instant access to the guide to becoming a powerhouse woman, value of $97. In this bonus, you're going to get all of my research into the successful entrepreneurs I wanted to model and what their secrets to their success were. They say if you want what someone else has, then you should model their success. This is going to give you the insight into the things that entrepreneurs use to find their personal success. I also added in the time study template for a value of $97. And in this bonus, you're going to get my template for finding more time in your day. And you're going to use this template to track everything you do from the moment you wake up till you crash into bed at night. You'll then learn my simple tips for seeing the big picture of where you're spending your time and how you can get more. And finally, I added in how to say no without feeling guilty for a value of $97. In this bonus, I'm going to give you examples on how to use the sandwich technique in your day-to-day life so you can say no to the things that don't serve you and delegate items that someone else should be doing. So just to review, this is what you're going to get. The 5 phases to fulfillment, one-on-one customized coaching, which is 10 60-minute sessions over 5 months. You're going to get the magical morning routine mini course, 30 affirmations for women entrepreneurs, the Entrepreneurs book series to Finding Life Balance, the guide to becoming a powerhouse woman, the time study template, and how to say no without feeling guilty. This totals $17,729 in value. I'm guessing there are 2 types of people listening to me right now. You're either a doer or a dabbler. The dabblers love to sit and listen and learn, but they rarely ever do anything and often look for any excuse not to move forward. Some of you are doers. You're not sure how this is going to work for you, but you see how it worked for me and for other people. So you have faith that it'll work for you as well. And what I found is that it's the doers who get ahead in life, while the dabblers don't ever really seem to progress. Now, obviously, I'm not going to charge you the $17,729, but if I did charge you that $17,729 and all it did was give you the answer on how to live the life of your dreams, would it be worth it to you? If all this system did was get you the support you need to move closer to being free to live your dream life, would it be worth the $17,729? And if all it did was teach you how to get rid of all the stuff on your to-do list that did not align with your personal vision and goals, would it be worth the $17,729? And what if all it did was give you a tool to find the time you're desperate for in your daily schedule to get more done? Then would it be worth it? I had 2 choices with this. I could go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, But the problem with that is I couldn't really stack on the value for you. So I decided to go with a second option, which obviously requires a slightly higher investment on your side. But in the exchange for that, I can dedicate more time, energy, and resources to help guarantee your success. So if you were living the life of your dreams today while growing your business, would it be worth it to you? How much would you pay to have that life? You can probably see why people pay $17,729 for a similar result for me, but because it's not a cost, it's an investment. You've already seen how it's worth $17,729, and even at that price, which I charge the public, it's a great deal. But because you spent this time with me today, I'm going to give you a very special offer. Your price is $1,747. To grab this price you will never see again, I want you to go to passionpurposeposture.com/freedom. Habits are really hard to change. I could leave the webinar right now and go enjoy the rest of my day. I'm already successful living my dream life daily. This is already working for me. But this is not about me. This is about you. And if you leave now, you might think you learned a lot of cool stuff. But my guess is that by tomorrow morning, you'll have already slipped back into your normal routines. You just do what you've always done. That's what most people do. But because I'm your coach, your friend, your mentor, I'm not going to let you go back to your old habits. I'm going to make sure you're successful by breaking them. If you want real lasting change, you need repeated exposure to the full system. That's what you'll get when you invest today. Now, let me put this into perspective for you. If you wait to jump into this program till the next time I offer it, you'll be paying at least 40% more. But because you've invested this time with me and you've proven that you really want to get this result, I'm making this special offer just for this webinar. When you're ready to change your life, this is what you need to start doing. First, I want you to open up a browser, and I don't care if it's Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari. I'm going to open Chrome right now and show you how this works. So I want you to type in passionpurposeposture.com/freedom. And on this page, you're going to see the 5 phases to fulfillment. And then you're going to click here, start your shift today, which is going to bring you down to the payment options. Once you decide which payment option works for you, and they're all the same, it doesn't matter which one you pick, you're going to go to this page, which is going to ask you to create your account. If you have any issues at all, this link right here is going to send me an email. At this point, you have 2 choices. You can choose to do nothing. If you do nothing with the information you've learned over the last hour, what will you get? Nothing. Or you can choose to take a leap of faith, just test it out and see if it'll work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, it's okay because you're covered with a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can test drive it now and see if it'll work for you. You have nothing to lose. But I want you to know something about me. I'm no one special. I don't have any supernatural gifts or anything. I actually really struggle with keeping my work-life balance in check because I love what I do. And that's what I love about this system. I don't have to worry about that anymore. The real question is this: is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Even if it does only half of what I've claimed today, it will pay for itself as soon as you start taking the steps to move closer to the life you're so desperately wanting to live. So just to review, this is what you're going to get. The 5 phases of fulfillment, one-on-one customized coaching, which is 10 60-minute coaching sessions, the magical morning routine, 30 affirmations for women entrepreneurs, the Entrepreneurs book series to finding life balance, the guide to becoming a powerhouse woman, the time study template, and how to say no without feeling guilty, all for $17,729. But today your price is $1,747. If you didn't sign up immediately, you're probably thinking one of two things. First, you might be thinking, I am so confused. I'm not really sure what I really want anymore. Don't worry, we spend the whole first phase figuring that out together. I'm also going to give you the Magical Morning Routine mini course to help you figure it out. I promise you, within your first 30 days, you'll know exactly what you want. And second, you're probably a little nervous about setting it all up. I get it. But I promise you it's not hard. And in phase 2, we're going to walk step by step through the whole setup process. I know investing in yourself can be scary, but I'll be there for you. Now, I know you know I'm a big believer in living my one life, and so my time is priceless. And I want the same for you. So for the next 72 hours, when you register, I am going to add in an extra bonus. You're going to get more access to me and my coaching through unlimited walkie-talkie access through the Voxer app. You'll have the ability these next 5 months of the program to send me a voice or text message with any question you may have at any time of the day. I'll respond to them Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, and Saturdays, 9 to noon. If you're like me and you have these random thoughts that you just don't want to forget, this is the tool that'll get them answered. Just pop me a note and I'll reply directly to you. This is an additional bonus valued at $83.73 and only available if you sign up within 72 hours by Sunday night. So don't delay and sign up today at passionpurposeposture.com/freedom. And just to recap, you are going to get all of these different things that I have listed for you for a total value of $26,102, all for $1,747. You're probably thinking you should jump on this, but what if I don't have the $1,747 today? Head on over to passionpurposeposture.com/freedom for 3 different payment options. And now that I've told you how the whole system works, I've shown you how you can live your life that you've been dreaming about. I've shown you that you only need these 3 secrets to make this all work. But you know what? To be successful with this, you're going to need more than information alone. I know you can be successful with this system, but you're going to need coaching. You'll have questions that need answering, and you might need help in the accountability department too. Let me tell you, I take my job as a coach very seriously. I won't let you quit on yourself. We will get through everything together. I can't do that with just a few videos and some PDFs. Information alone won't cut it. The success rate when people go at this themselves is almost 0% because it takes too long and people quit on themselves. Just look at my personal story. It took me 2 whole years to achieve my goal. According to a study, 99% of individuals and companies who hire a coach are satisfied or very satisfied and say they would repeat the process. If information were enough, then you could have just turned to Google. You need a guide who has been there before and can take you there now. If you're still on the fence, now's the time to open a new browser. Go to www.passionpurposeposture.com/freedom and get started. Remember, there's no risk, and I have 100% money back guarantee, but the only way for you to know if this is right for you is to get started right now. You can get your account at passionpurposeposture.com/freedom. And I want to thank you for your time today. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to working with you on your journey.